mean.
Oh, Canada.
Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
Nah, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of We Got Next. I'm Ricky Hampton with my great friend Paul Mokeski, coming to you on a Monday evening. Hope you had a great sports weekend. Hope all your teams won. Of course, everybody can't win. Somebody's got to win. Somebody's got to lose. But hey, there's always next weekend. Well, you know, Big Mo.
Well, there's not always next weekend. Just ask Minnesota WNBA team. there's no next weekend for them.
Hey, Mo, let's start there. And we got a great show. Love to hear your questions and comments. And of course, check us out on Sports Fluent and subscribe to the show so you can keep up with everything we do here. Mo, let's start with the WNBA. Man, Game 5, which is their Game 7, and I want to ask you about should they play a 7-game series also. But before we get to that, the New York Liberty playing at home edged the Minnesota Lynx in overtime to win the first NBA title in the history of the Liberty. They're one of the WNBA's original teams, but everybody was not happy about how that turned out. The Lynx coach, Cheryl Reeves, said the game was stolen from them last night. There was a controversial call at the end of the game that put Breanna Stewart at the free throw line to tie it up, to get it in overtime. The Liberty shot 25 free throws to the Lynx's 8 over the course of the game. And both teams were going at it. Both teams were physical. So I don't know how that disparity came about. But at the end, it was 87-82, and Reeves was not happy.
67-62, right?
87-82 in overtime.
Oh, well, I think, it was a physical game. It was really an ugly game. It was really bad. I mean, both teams struggled to score. The referees let them play, which that's okay. But the foul discrepancy was obvious. And that last play that they called a foul, and then Minnesota team challenged it. And when you looked at the challenge, there was no foul. But the referees did not reverse their call, which they very rarely do. They don't like to do. And if you really look back at it, she actually took 4 steps before she dribbled the ball. So, it's sad that a game will end like that. But even so, Minnesota had a chance. They had a wide open shot at the end to win the game, and they missed it. And in my opinion, they had 5 seconds or 4 seconds left. She took a 3 where the lane was wide open. She could have just drove it and either made a layup or got fouled and maybe got a call. But, the bottom line is, hey, I've been on the bad end of some of those. I coached up in Canada, and I remember a game on the road. We played it up north somewhere, farther north, and I think the fouls were 35 to. I think the free throws were 38 to 10. So I've been at the other end of that. So, but as a team coming into another team's arena for Game 5. You can't expect to get any calls, and you won't get any calls. So when Minnesota was up by 12, they should have took care of the ball more, attacked the rim more, maybe forced some fouls, and then it wouldn't have come down to that call. So, it was a really bad call, bad look for the WNBA. And I've watched, because of the Aces here in Las Vegas, I've watched quite a few WNBA games. I haven't gone to one in person, but I've watched them on TV. I watched the Aces who play really good basketball. But I'm going to be truthful, man. The referees in the WNBA are not very good. They're not very good. They make mistakes all the time. They let the game get out of hand. There's been complaining all along. They don't know how to control a game. And here's why. Because WNBA referees are low on the totem pole. NBA refs make between 150 and 500,000 a year. College refs make between 60 and 100 something thousand a year. Even G League refs make between 40 and 80,000 a year. And the WNBA refs make about 40 grand. So, you know, the refs you get are the refs you pay for. So you get the lower refs. You couldn't make the NBA, couldn't make the G League, can't ref in college really. And now you're at the WNBA, and it's been a problem all year, and it really accumulated here at the end. And it was a bad look because, hell, there was 16,000 people or 18,000 people watching that game. It was great. It was back and forth. But, you know, and I called it here at home. You know, when they challenged it and I saw the 8,000 different angles, I said, that's not a foul. But they're not going to reverse it. They won't reverse the fall. And they did.
And Mo, you're right. It was 67-62.
Yeah, 67-62.
67-62.
Yeah, I mean, it was
kind of speaks to like you said, it was it was such a physical game that it took away from any chance to see a lot of offense.
Well, part of it is they missed open shots. Not only do they miss layups, which is bad, they miss wide open shots. Stewart was like 4 for 18, and Brianna Enescu was like 1 for 16. Like they couldn't make shots. No one can make shots. And you know, Jaquel Jones bailed them out by being just a force in the paint. She is a hard guard. She's strong. She has long arms, really nice touch, and she's really, really high basketball IQ. Really
I was thinking about you, watching her operate, and that their other big, that's why they're won, because of their bigs. Because Jones is like their 7-footer. Yeah. And regardless of the sport, it's always a place for the big guy or the big girl.
She's a female version of the Joker, right? She scores and teaches people, schools them in the paint. She's a good passer. She can knock down the three. She shoots three. She makes all her free throws. I mean, just you know, she was MVP for a reason. If she's not playing at that level, I think she had 17 and 8 rebounds or whatever or something. If she's not playing like that, Liberty don't win that game.
They don't win that game.
No, they lose by 10 or 12, which in basketball, coaches know, people you need to know. When you go on the road in college or in the WNBA, I guess, and sometimes in the NBA, going to the fourth or, you know, last 5 minutes of the game, you better been in by 15 points. Or you ain't going to come out with a victory. That's just the way it is, man. The home team gets the whistle. That's what it goes.
and we're gonna stick with this WNBA because, you know, all in all, it was the most exposure the league has ever witnessed, Mo. And we're already getting some questions about the CBA, and we're gonna hit on that in a minute. But I want to stick with this going on the road thing. You played in the Boston Garden in some big games. Did you get a great whistle at the Garden?
No, of course not. I mean, you know, if I'm going to go, if there's a bang bang call and Bird runs me over and I'm trying to take a charge, who do you think in the Garden's going to get the call? Of course it's Bird or McHale or Parrish or Dennis Johnson or name anybody except maybe Greg Kite, and maybe I get the call. But yeah, of course.
and you know, we're on a new network. I'll dig this picture out. One of my favorite pictures of Paul Mokeski in action. He is taking a charge against the great Dr. J. There's no doubt about that. And I said, Mo, I know you got that call. Said,
no. 80% chance I did not get that call. That's just the way it is, and it was. I mean, you know, it's unfortunate, and the problem is, it's that way, but then when it gets askew way the other way, 25 to 8 free throws, and there's physicality all game. Come on, Rick, you saw the game.
Yes.
Their bodies are flying, and then in the last play, a little hip maybe. Come on, man, you can't call that. I mean, I told my players in a close game, especially on the road, you need to take jump shots because if you drive to the basket, you ain't getting that call. And that's what should have happened there. She should have knocked out that call.
Wow. Wow. And Mo, and you know, kudos to Caitlin Clark for her impact on the league. You had a really outstanding rookie class with Clark, Angel Reese over in Chicago. They brought a lot of eyes to the WNBA. But now there's a chance we could have a strike in the WNBA, Mo. The WNBA Players Association has decided to opt out of their contract and to secure a transformational change in the NBA. This is from the WNBA president, Agwami. I can never pronounce her name, and I apologize for that. The Seattle Storm forward. We are ready to lead transformational change that goes beyond women's sports and sets a precedent for something greater. Opting out isn't about bigger paychecks. It's about claiming our rightful share of the business we built, improving work conditions, and securing a future where success we create benefits today's players and generations to come. We are not asking for the CBA that reflects our value. We're demanding it because we earned it. You know, hey man, they had a great 1 year, but
Under 28, right?
I think you're asking for trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure, but I believe that they're going to play it in 2025. I think they're going to opt out after the 2025 season. I think. And Steve, to answer your question, the WNBA won't have to strike because it will fold. It will fold. They don't. People don't understand how this whole process works. You have no idea. The WNBA has been around for, I think, 28 years. It started, I think, in '94 or something like that. And you know who supported the WNBA for all these years? Of the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. Hundreds of millions of dollars are the owners of the NBA. The owners of the NBA have lost hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars over the last 20-something years supporting the WNBA that lost money every year. And it's still losing money. And, you know, you're just asking for trouble. I know, you know, you're looking to upgrade and, you know, travel is better. Guess what? You got charter flights. That's great. Except guess what? It costs the league $25 million. It costs the league $25 million. That's what happened. See, there's a difference between, and, you know, you look at all the, you know, the fans that are coming out, and that's great. You know who makes money on those tickets and those skyboxes and everything? The individual teams, not the league. Not the league. But guess what? The WNBA league pays for their travel, $25 million. In the NBA, you're the owner, you get your profits from tickets and suite sales and everything, but you pay for your own travel. You pay for your own travel, which costs between $5 and $6 million a year. You pay for it.
That's right.
As an owner. So, you know, you have to have profitability to be a viable business. And, you know, the ticket sales up great. They've signed a new money TV deal. That's great. Hasn't kicked in yet, by the way. And, you know, I think the WNBA lost $50 million last year. So you want a big part of that? Okay, you need to step up then, because the NBA works because in their collective bargaining agreement, the profits or the income from basketball-related business is split 50-50 owners, players. The owners get half, and the players get half added to the salary cap that contributes to their salary. That's why the salaries are so big, because it's profitable. And that the budget for the NBA per year is $10 billion. For the WNBA, it's $200 million. Big difference.
Right, and they only play 80 games and more. You're right. The current CBA is set to expire in 2027 and will still be in effect until October 31st, 2025. However, the two sides have a year to come to an agreement to avoid a lockout.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll predict this right away. If that happens, then the WNBA will, Adam Silver, do people realize that the NBA owns 60% of the WNBA? Do people understand that? Do you know that, Ricky?
No, yes, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, the NBA owns 60% of the WNBA. So 60%. So, all these owners have paid. The NBA owners have paid hundreds of millions of dollars into the league over the years. Guess what? They want that money back. So here's what I'll predict is going to happen. If push comes to shove and the WNBA players decide to strike, then the league will not exist anymore as it is. And they'll look, Adam Silver and the NBA will look to sell it to somebody, for $3 or $5 million, whatever they can get for it. And then someone else that maybe thinks they can do it better is going to buy it and might lose a ton of money. But that's what's going to happen. And then the NBA owners that have put in hundreds of millions of dollars can write that off as a loss, depending on what they get back from it. And then you'll move on with the WNBA, however you see fit. And that's a problem. They've been making progress. They have chartered flights now. They're staying at better hotels. But they're still a young league, and pull the plug on the money that the NBA puts in every year, and you're looking for a big trouble. And the salaries you think you're going to have, if there's no owners that will pay you that, you're not going to have it at the you're not going to have it in the end anyway. It's a big problem that's going to happen, and I understand the games get more popular. People are watching on TV. People are coming to the game. 18,000 last night. But years and years of hundreds of millions of dollars need to be paid back before it's a profit. That's the fact.
I mean, honestly, this is really the first year the WNBA. I mean, that's gotten a little bit. The Aces, I think, drew in a lot of fans because they really had a great team out there. But I think Caitlin Clark, her presence. Reminds me of when Magic and Bird on a much smaller level is what I'm saying about that, Mo. Bringing more eyes to the WNBA.
When the
they
NBA
still got a long ways to go.
And it's you need to look at the history, right? The NBA is 75 years old, something like that, more than that. I mean, I played in the NBA 40 years ago or 35 years ago or whatever. Right. And salaries were, all the superstars were making $500,000. That's what Dr. J made. That's what those Dave Cowens. That's what they made. Guess what? The stars in the WNBA are making $200,000, but they're only playing half a season, 40 games. So double that, and you're making about what Dr. J made when he was a superstar back in those times. Salary cap for an NBA team back then, I think, was $21 million. It's $137 million now, but it took 50 more years to get where we are. So I think there needs to be a little more patience. And if they're talking about, okay, the iron's hot, we have this much TV revenue, we have all this, people are interested, we're selling out arenas now. That's all great. But if you're going to use that and try to put the feet to the fire of the NBA and what they've done over the last 20 years of hundreds of millions of dollars, it's going to come down to something you probably don't want, but we'll see.
Yeah. Hey, we see you lining up out there. Please send us your questions.
Here's another thing I wanted to. The NBA players and owners are 50-50 with income that's coming in, right? And only to the last CBA did we get the TV money in that. I mean, the merchandise money in that. So that's just happened over the last couple of years. So, and the way the owners get it, they get it back, the league gets part of it, and then the owners get part of it. And then the players get it back by the salary cap going up, up, up. So now the average salary instead of 500 grand a year is, I think, 2 million a year, whatever that is. So that's how that works. And, the WNBA right now, the Players Association gets 9.3% of the incoming money. But that's if there's no incoming money, and if you have debt out there.
Think about this, Mo. I know you remember when the NBA finals used to be tape delay in some areas.
Yeah, I mean, times have changed, and commercials and sponsorship and all that is growing, but it takes time. It's kind of like the old trickle down, right? I mean, okay, you had a great year, WNBA, great year with people watching on TV and people coming out paying money to see and all this excitement. But it takes time for that to get to the players and the coaches. I would hate for them. They're on this trajectory now. I would hate for them to, try and pull put a hard brakes on that and say, well, we're going to do it this way or no way, because you're frighteningly close to becoming no way, and then you'll be back making your money overseas and not being able to support yourself playing in the United States. And I actually looked it up again today a little bit. That WNBA teams pay the players a stipend for their living expense when they live here. It's not that much. It's $1,000 to $1,500 a month, but still, that's something to, so you're not paying for your housing while you're playing in that city. So, it's interesting. Some people get full of themselves too soon and don't think about the history of the NBA. Owns 60% of the WNBA and have been putting in hundreds of millions of dollars over the last 20 years. That, guess what? Eventually they're going to ask to get back. There's actually some owners right now. One is Dolan from the Knicks, and there's some other owners that want Adam Silver to be more transparent with where the money's going, because right now WNBA and NBA money is kind of intertwined, and no one has the specific numbers. And those owners in the NBA are not stupid. They're very smart guys and women, and they're going to want an accounting of all this. And hey, man, I put in $100 million over the last 20 years. Well, I need some of that back.
Show me the money. Show me the money. Hey, Mo, let's stick a little bit with the business of basketball, because that definitely went into the decision by Tony Bennett to suddenly retire only a few weeks before the start of the season. Tony Bennett, of course, is the coach at the University of Virginia, won a national title. But last Friday, he decided he was going to step down. And his main reason, Mo, is where college basketball is today. Let me just read this. He said, "I don't think I'm equipped in this new way to coach, and it's a disservice if you keep doing that. I'm very sure this is the right step. I wish I could have gone longer. I really do, but it was time."
Yeah, I mean, the game has changed, and he's made enough money in his career to not have to change with time. Right? He doesn't have, I mean, he can retire, probably be on TV or doing something. He's made a lot of money in his career, and quite frankly, he did what a lot of coaches right now want to do. They want to get out of this because it's become a business with NIL money, which is being professional or getting paid to play, which is fine, but it's a different animal, and it's the transfer portal. Those two things combined have made a travesty of college athletics. If you had one of them, if you had NIL money and no transfer portal where you could just move around and play the next year, or transfer portal and limited or no NIL money, I think it's a different animal. But both together is like a combination that's killing college sports, and it's going to continue doing so in the future. And at some point, as a coach, you're coaching a pro team. A lot of colleges now, Ricky, are hiring GMs. They're hiring general managers, just like pro teams, to keep an eye on them and keep their budgets balanced. And know, okay, in the NBA, your owner tells you, okay, the salary cap is 127 million, but we could go up to 137. That's what you got. Put together a team with that. That's what the salaries have to match up to. All 15 players. Well, now in college, you're doing the same thing. You have some colleges have tons of NIL money. Some don't have that much NIL money, and you're given the amount that okay, you got $500,000 of NIL money for your college basketball program. Spend it wisely. And now you got to get a center, a guard, and all those players are using your value and going and comparing it to other schools because they have more money or less money. It's becoming a free agency. It's a free agency. Go to the highest bidder. And that's what frustrates coaches.
Well, you're exactly right. And he touched on that. This is Bennett. The game and college athletics is not in a healthy spot. It's just not. And it needs to change. I was equipped to do the job the old way. That's who I am. But there needs to be a change. It's going to be closer to a professional model. There needs to be collective bargaining. There's got to be restrictions on a salary pool a team can spend, and there has to be regulations on transfers.
Sounds familiar, right? Collective bargaining agreement,
salary
cap. Collective bargaining agreement, salary cap. And, I don't necessarily disagree with that. It's a shame, but that's what it's coming to. And here's another frustration for coaches. And you know what? I'm all for it. Used to be there was no NIL money, but the transfer rule was if you transfer to another college, you got to sit out a year before you play. Or if your coach left, then you could go play the next year somewhere else. That's reasonable. But now, guess what? I'm playing for you this year, Ricky. And I'm a 7-foot center, and I had a good year, and you're paying me $300,000 NIL money, and I'm a sophomore, and I come to you, hey, Coach Ricky, 300,000 doesn't do it anymore. I need 5. And you tell me, Mo, I'd love to do it, but and I go, Coach, University of Sam over there, they said they'll pay me $600,000. So you can. I'm sorry, Mo, I don't have it. Well, goodbye. I'm going to the other school.
But Mo, isn't there somewhere where this thing could work? Because when you in college, it really wasn't fair to you. People selling out to come see you play at Kansas, and you're getting none of it. Now it seems like it's gone the other way. Where is that?
Well, it's what Tony Bennett said, right? There needs to be guidelines, and here's where the NCAA messed up. They just opened up NIL. Yay, players get paid. There you go. And without thinking of what problems that could come up above, like this is happening, they should have thought ahead and say, hey, listen, wait, slow down. Players should get paid, but there has to be a limit, right? And it can't be my offensive lineman is making $20,000 and my quarterback's making $200,000. It can't be that. Everybody should make the same amount, whatever that amount is, we say. And we're the NCAA, we can make that rule. So every player in a school can make $50,000. That's it. And that's fair. I mean, the number could be whatever, but $50,000, you could pay for a lot of things at $50,000. You go to college now, Division I, you don't have to buy a car because they provide it for you for free. Housing for free. They stay in nice apartments. So if I got $50,000, above my school and books and my housing and my food and my car, that's fair. That's fair even if I sell out every game. That's fair. And then if I want to go pro and make millions, then I do. But they didn't think ahead. So there's no cap. If you have enough money, if you gave me $2 million for next year, and you hired me as UNLV head coach here in Las Vegas, I would be in the Final Four next year, no question. I have $1 million to get the best big guy I could get, I get $1 million. I get 500,000 for a guard. I could buy a team to get to the Final Four easy now. That's the reality. That's reality. And now you're having players that are staying in college and not coming out. The older players, like Hunter Dickinson in Kansas, is making 700,000 or 800,000. I don't think he might be a second round pick, maybe. I mean, he's a great college player, but if he came out, he might be playing a two-way contract for an NBA team for 200 grand, where I can make 700 and 800 grand staying here at Kansas. So that's coming into play now. And the older players like that are staying longer. So it's a mess. And coaches like Tony Bennett, who have the background and made some money, have the ability to do that. And you might see more coaches like that stepping out. I'm not so sure Coach K didn't do it for that reason. I know his health is for a reason. Nick Saban. Nick Saban did it because his wife was upset because when they had their party at their house before the season with families and recruits, they were all asking how much NIL money they were going to make, not how many games they're going to win.
Yeah. You know that's not going to sit well with Nick. And Chip Kelly left UCLA, where he was the head coach, to take a offensive coordinator's job at Ohio State because he didn't want to be bothered with all the NIL stuff. He wants his craft is putting offenses together, and he probably makes $1 million at Ohio State.
Yeah. Guess what? He's not running from that NIL money. At Ohio State, I think they have a $20 million budget, whatever. But he can't be a great offensive coordinator if he doesn't have money to pay a quarterback.
Yeah. I think somebody else is probably buying the groceries for him.
Hey, thanks, Danny. Thanks for watching, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Love to hear your questions and comments. We've spent the first half hour really just talking about the business of basketball, and that's what it is, Mo. I mean, you were part of it as a longtime NBA player, coach, scout, a long way from when you shot baskets in your front yard.
All I wanted to do is make my high school team, then I wanted to make my college team, then I wanted to make it in the NBA. That's all I was thinking about.
Unbelievable. Speaking of the NBA, tomorrow is opening night in the NBA. Mo, I think it's going to be an exciting season, and we got a ton of storylines. What are you looking for?
Well, first, we need to get this out of the way, right? I always say the best ability is availability, right? So let's go through the injury list, right? Let's go. There's players, big-time players that aren't going to start the season, right? So in Boston, Porzingis had foot surgery in June. Yeah. He might not play till after Christmas. The Cavs, Max Strus just turned his ankle. He's out 6 to 8 weeks in Cleveland, right? Kawhi Leonard, who knows when he'll ever play again? His knee has never come back. So, does that make a big difference for the Clippers season? You think? Lakers, Christian Wood, the big they got 2 years ago from Dallas, I think from Dallas, but, who's going to help and be a shot blocker, rim protector.
Yeah, they got him out.
Yeah, he had knee surgery again Monday, so he's out. And then my beloved Milwaukee Bucks just found out that, Chris Middleton, who had double ankle surgery this summer, is out indefinitely, which means to me after Christmas or All-Star break. The Knicks, they're big that they let Hartenstein go for Mitchell Robinson. His ankle's been hurt forever, and he's not going to be able to play. And the guy that left there in OKC, Isaiah Hartenstein, he fractured his hand. So,
5 to 6 weeks.
6 to 8. So Holmgren, who was going to be the 4, and Hartenstein was going to be the 5. Perfect, great. Now they got to put that off for a couple months. And then Philly, Paul George hyperextended his knee, so we don't know what his impact is going to be for Philly. So there's the start. We haven't started the season yet, And all that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 8 teams that are major teams that aren't going to have one of their major players already. But we haven't played a game. Talk to me next week, Ricky. We'll see what happens.
I mean, that is an incredible list, Paul, and the injuries. It seems like there's just so many more injuries now compared to your era, and they have all the technology, all the metal.
There might be more, but there maybe not that many more. Just people don't play through them. I mean, if you're Max Strauss back in the day and you turned your ankle, you're playing.
Right, you didn't mention him. He's out.
Yeah, I did for.
Okay.
Yeah, so but back in the day, there's no way some starter like that is going to sit out opening night back in the day. But now, he's going to sit out for a month, 6 weeks more. So, it's just a different mentality, whether it's right or not. I mean, I'm paying the price. So,
and Embiid is not going to play back-to-backs.
Yeah, which I think they have 15 this year, so he's not going to play at a minimum. He's not going to play in 7 games probably. And I'm wondering how Paul George being out affects that at the beginning of the season. But who knows how many back-to-backs he has the first month. If I was a gambling man, I'd be checking on injury lists and back-to-backs for Philly.
Yeah, that's really, it's really amazing the number of top players that are out already. Hey, Mo, I was reading this thing today. It was talking about some of the stories to look forward to today. And the Knicks winning a title. Are they a serious challenger to Boston?
Absolutely. And I just said, right, Porzingis is out until Christmas. So, there's a lot of stuff going on, and then he's got to come back. Remember, he was hurt a couple of years ago. Then he came back in the playoffs last year and got hurt again. Remember that? So, if Porzingis isn't with Boston, I mean, they're just like all the other teams. The reason why Boston is strong and they won the championship, and a lot of the reason is because they're as deep as any team. And they're as talented. Holiday, Jaylen Brown, Tatum, Derek White, who showed what kind of player he is, not only in the finals last year, but in the Olympics. And then if you have Porzingis, that's great. And then that leaves you with Horford, Pritchard, and Luke Kornet as backups. That's good. But you take Porzingis out of that, now you got to start Horford, who's, I think, 40, and he's not LeBron James. So, but New York, they made that move. They gave up assets. Randall, who has played pretty well in preseason, and Vincent DeCenzo, who's a really heartthrob of, heartbeat of the Knicks last year. But they got Anthony Towns, one of the best bigs. Guess what? Who Anthony Towns is? He's like a younger Embiid, isn't he? Long, can score in the post, shoot threes, can put it on the floor, good passer. So that, to me, because of what happened to Middleton, there's different levels in the East. I had Boston and Milwaukee as the top 2 probably, with Philly, New York, maybe Indiana and Miami, at the next tier. But now with Middleton, I dropped Milwaukee out of that, and Boston, New York, and Philly are the top favorites in the East right now.
Cleveland's in that next tier of teams.
I think they're teetering on the next tier. I mean, you got Bucks, Indiana, Miami, and then I think the next tier is Cleveland, Orlando, Memphis. Kind of 3 tiers, right?
That's right. Memphis gets John Morant back, and the guy I'm really excited to see play in terms of young players is Embiid. I'm not Embiid, but it's Big Zach Edey. I am cheering for that dude, man, and I think he's going to have his moments this year.
Yeah, I think he's got thinner. He's got more mobile. He's proved, like I've been saying for 2 years, Ricky. He's an NBA.
I know.
He protects the rim, good shot blocker, great hands, can roll to the basket and catch and finish it and dunk it on people. He can half roll, kick it out to people. and he makes all his free throws, and now he's stretched out to a little bit of 3-point shooting. I mean, come on, why not? I don't understand. And he's my front runner for Rookie of the Year for sure.
Wow. Well, I want to see him match up against Wemby.
Yeah, totally different players, but it'll be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, just that, because if he gets Wemby in the low post, it's over. He's gonna run over him. Thank you, David. We appreciate you. We appreciate everybody out there. Send us your questions and comments.
Do we have any questions or comments?
Yeah, if you got no, we just we covered them early.
Okay, good, cool.
Yeah, we covered them early, but we still got time to take some more. Hey, Mo, Bronny James actually had a good game the other night. Finished preseason strong. Had a 17-point game. I saw some of the highlights. He is a really good athlete. He's not his father, but athletically, but man, he's got some balance.
Yeah, LeBron is 6'8", 280 pounds that jumps out of the gym, but Bronny is 6'1", but his arm span is 6'7", and he was the second highest vertical at the Chicago pre-draft camp. He's a hell of an athlete. He just needs to learn how to play and come along slowly. So here's Bronny's future. Tomorrow night or whenever they have opening night, he's going to get on the floor with his dad. They're going to take all the pictures and all the videos, and then hopefully by the end of the week, he's going to be down with their G League team in training camp getting ready for the season. That's what they should do.
Right. And do you have a problem with that, Mo?
No, it happens all the time. I mean, the Milwaukee Bucks are in talks with signing Giannis's brother again. And his brother is not an NBA player at all, barely a G League player. And they're going to sign him. And actually, can't remember the guy's name. There's a 7-footer that was in their camp. He's a European player. He's about 30 years old. Really good passer. I think he had like 10 rebounds. They cut him. So that's going to make a spot for Giannis's brother. So why would I have a problem with LeBron's son playing? Because it happens all the time.
Right. Yeah. He does a good job cheering over there on the sidelines when they play.
Yeah, so did ML Carr, but come on, man. He's turned into, remember Jack Haley?
Yeah.
Jack Haley was Dennis Rodman's teammate always. Whenever if the Bulls signed Rodman from Detroit, they brought Jack Haley. Jack Haley was in Detroit. When the Spurs signed Rodman, they brought in Jack Haley because Jack Haley was his friend. It could calm him down a little bit. Jack Haley passed away a few years ago, rest his soul, but that was his role, and he did it well.
Hey Mo, you mentioned ML Carr, and you guys played against him. Did you guys ever make fun of ML over there just waving his towel? Or
no, we couldn't because they kicked our ass most of the time. How are you gonna make fun of some team that's kicking your ass? I mean, we did sweep them out of the playoffs one year, and we gave them a lot of good series, but you can't make fun of it. It's like someone getting an interception and a pick six and celebrating when their team is down 32 points, or someone making a spectacular dunk in a game in the fourth quarter when your team is down 40 points. It's just stupid. So no, you can't make fun of anybody doing anything on a great team.
Yeah, that is very true. In the West, we talked about a little bit about the Lakers, Clippers, and we mentioned Kawhi Leonard. Not only is he's out indefinitely, Paul.
I think he's done.
And just think, they were upset that they didn't let him play. Something happened with the Olympics.
He left.
Yeah.
He left because when I watched the first workout and he looked okay, but evidently he decided he couldn't handle it on his knee and came in agreement with the Olympic Committee that he needed to leave and not be on the team because he couldn't perform anymore. And now it's proven true in the Clippers organization. It's unfortunately because he's a great player, But you know what? He's had a double cartilage replacement or whatever he's had, and all these injuries he's had over the last few years. Um, he might be done playing, and he's still owed $150 million over the next 3 years. So I'll tell you what, right now, if I'm him, I'm not retiring unless you pay me, and we'll see what happens. And that would open up money for the Clippers to go get somebody. But at this point, knowing what I know and what he's gone through over the last few years, I'm not so sure he sees the basketball court anymore. That's my opinion.
Hey, somebody that saw the court the other night, hadn't played in 3 years, and man, you got to give this young man credit for fighting back, is Alonzo Ball. With the Chicago Bulls, came out, actually hit his first shot, and played well in his limited minutes. It's so funny. Lonzo hasn't been able to play, but he approached it one way, and it seems like Ben Simmons has taken the two guys who really hadn't played. One guy gets a lot of respect for fighting back to get there, and one guy is, people look at him with the side eye, Mo.
Yeah, because the way he did it, he demanded a trade, then he got to where he wanted, and he demanded another trade, and he came back and to appease people and practice half-ass, and I mean, this is the way he did it. It's the way you go about things, and Alonzo Ball, I mean, he's not going to be the same player he was, because I think he's had double cartilage replacement, whatever that is, and but he's going to be effective because he knows how to play. But he's going to have to watch his minutes and his rehab after games to make sure he's taking care of his body. But Ben Simmons where is he? What team is he on anymore? I don't know. Do you? You don't know. I don't even know. Where'd he go?
You know what? I think he's in Brooklyn. I'm going to check that, Mo.
Where'd he go? I mean, it's one thing to be heard and try to come back, but the way you do it, it matters. And, the things he was saying and, all this other stuff, I mean,
Yeah, he's still in Brooklyn.
So, they should be top 3 in the East, right? Because he's in Brooklyn.
Yeah, he actually played the other night. So, maybe this is the year that he gets some games in. Paul, do you think some of these guys make so much money now that that check is in whether I play or not?
Well, it's human nature, especially if you're banged up or hurt, right? I mean, if you're banged up or hurt, there's a difference between being hurt and being injured. When you're injured, you have something that you can't play. You have a torn cartilage, you have ACL, you have a hamstring, whatever that is, you're injured. When you're hurt, your back might be sore, your shoulder might be sore, you might have sprained your ankle, but it's only a grade 1, stuff like that. So, if you're making a ton of money and, I'm going to go out there and play, if I'm hurt and I need to play to make my next contract and make that big money, I got more of a drive to go out there and play. But if I already got that money locked up and I know it's going to hurt when I play and probably hurt me in the future, I'm okay sitting out. That's the mentality. That's human nature.
Yeah. Hey, we talked about people looking at Ben Simmons with the side eye. Just jumping over to the NFL for a couple of minutes. The show is just flying by. Deshaun Watson got hurt in Cleveland at the dog pound yesterday, and tore his Achilles. He knew it the moment he dropped back, and just lost his leg gave out. He knew it was bad. He was in tears leaving the field. The Cleveland fans were booing him. There's a lot that goes with Deshaun Watson. with his off the field troubles, has played terribly since he signed the $246 million guaranteed contract. But the fans booing him upset some of his teammates. Well, what is your thought as a former pro athlete? I know you've been booed. When is it over the top?
Well, first of all, he's at home, right?
He's at home.
How do you get booed at home? I mean, period. I mean,
Well, he's played terrible, and the team's been terrible.
So you just, so, okay, that happens sometimes. But if you're on the road, if I was in Boston Garden and I tore up my knee and I'm laying on the ground and Boston fans hate me, they're not going to boo me. They'll probably clap if I get up or if, whatever. That's just the way you do things. You don't boo somebody. Or I think they were chanting, "You deserve it," right? Or something like that. If someone got hurt. And, when I saw it, you could see, right? It was his Achilles. You knew. You could tell. He grabbed it. He looked like, someone kicked him. That's how it happens all the time. But, I mean, the worst fans in the world or whatever, the best fan, whatever, don't boo a guy, when he gets hurt. They're probably, for sure, season ending and maybe career ending. You don't know that.
Yeah.
It's a long road back. And guess what? He's going to be happy with that contract that he signed because he's going to collect that money. And guess what? What do you expect him to do? Turn down the money? You should boo the team, man.
Right.
You should go point to the owner's box and point up there and boo him. He's the one that paid them.
Right. I mean, that is the thing. And you put aside his off-field issues, right? Because he's hurt.
He's a human being. I mean, obviously you don't feel for him that, a fan favorite or something, but at the same time, athletes are human beings, right? He just popped his Achilles. He knows it. All his teammates know it. Everybody on the field knows it, so, why would you, boo or chant something like that to a guy getting carted off the field? I don't know any situation where that should happen, unless he did really I don't know what you could do off the field and still play in the NFL that you would boo someone that just got hurt.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Mo, your Chiefs are still riding high, 6-0, the only unbeaten team in the National Football League. And everybody's talking about, Mahomes is not playing well. This isn't a beauty contest. It's about winning the game, isn't it?
Yeah, and they're all beat up, right? They've lost receivers, they've lost tight ends, they've lost offensive. They're playing. Their defense is carrying them, which is unusual for a Mahomes team, right? Their defense is just spectacular and carrying them, but he has hardly any more targets, because all the guys are hurt. They could double and triple team Travis the whole game, and he could hardly get open and shake it. So, it's a testament to the whole team and the coaching staff to keep winning because, they're in dire straits with injuries. And I was surprised. I was hoping they would go after Devontae Adams here in Oakland, who ended up in with the Jets with his own old quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. I was hoping the Chiefs would have gone for him because that would have gave the Chiefs an unbelievable weapon to throw to. I don't know salary cap wise if they could have made it happen, but I mean, hell, the Jets got him for a third round draft pick. I mean, the Chiefs could desperately need him right now, but if you're a great team, and the Chiefs are, you can't deny it. They've won back to back, and they're all beat up, and they're still winning somehow. You can win. You can win pretty. You can win ugly. It doesn't matter. The W is the W. But it's a strain on everybody with all the injuries. So the upcoming games, thank goodness they have a 6-0 buffer right now, and hopefully some of the players in the next 2 or 3 weeks will get healthy again.
Hey Mo, you with your Milwaukee ties, you've always been a fan of the Packers. You follow Aaron Rodgers' career closely. What is his legacy going to be? Is what's happening now in in New York going to taint his legacy, you think?
Well, actually,
Would he even care about something like that?
what are they? They're 2-5. They have to make a run here to do something, but it might a little bit. Quite frankly, me personally, his legacy is hurt more with what happened in the pandemic, and how he said I was. He didn't say I was vaccinated. I was immunized or something like that, and then I think he had another thing with volleyball billing at his old alma mater. That the money was a question, right? That's
Brett Favre. That's the other Packer.
Oh, that's Brett Favre. Yeah, but I think I was upset because I'm a Packer guy, and Aaron Rodgers was great. But when that one year he came back and his hair was really long, and he was going out into the wilderness and spending 48 hours in the dark, whatever he was doing. And, I don't know. I'm like, come on, man, just be a quarterback like you are and lead the team. And I think that year. He got frustrated. He got frustrated with his young receivers, and he should be because they're dropping passes. But he brought it out in the media, that they were dropping passes and they got to get better. Which is, you don't do that to young players when you're Aaron Rodgers and they look up to you. You kind of do it behind closed doors, and that kind of affected his.
He did the other day with one of his receivers, Mike Williams. Did you think who was better in Green Bay, Favre or Rodgers?
Both spectacular. I mean, you couldn't separate both those. I mean, Brett Favre is, played the day after his father passed away, I think, and had a great game. And, I mean, both of them are Packer legends, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we are almost out of time here.
Well, we're not talking about your Detroit Lions getting first place and beating Minnesota.
They are really good, man. We got to find somebody to take Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, you can't replace Aiden Hutchinson. He was playing so freaking great. But they should call the Raiders, man. But Mo, you remember
Max Crosby. Max Crosby. Yeah. Max Crosby doesn't want to be here anymore. Make that call.
Who played in this area? But Mo, it is so funny, and we talked about this 2 or 3 years ago with the Lions. They were playing all these teams tough. They just couldn't get over the hump. And you were talking about you liked how they played hard. They had to upgrade their talent. At the end of the day, you gotta have good guys. Now they got good guys, and they're able to, and they got experience. They're able to finish those games.
Yeah, it's a process, right? And a process you go through. And if you have patience enough and do it the right way, which the Lions were, love their coach, love their attitude, love what he was doing in the locker room, and then they upgraded their talent. Just look at the history of the NBA, right? The Pistons couldn't beat the Celtics, because, they had to upgrade their talent and they had to get there and have that experience. Then they did. Then the Bulls couldn't beat the Pistons. Then they had to upgrade their talent, and then they experienced, and then they did. That's how it happens in sports. But you have to have the groundwork and the basic fundamentals of, okay, this is our plan. We're sticking to it. We're going to add good pieces every year. We're going to stick with our main game plan. We're going to play hard, play tough, play every possession, not throw the ball away. And then we're going to add other players as we go, and eventually we're going to be where we want to be. And I don't know if the Lions are there right now, but they're very close. And the way they built it, if they're not there right now, next year they will be.
Yeah, I think that's why the front office is kind of hesitant, because it's a very young team. They got a lot of the guys they need under contract, so they may just try to tough it out this year and wait for Aiden to come back. Mo, we got to get out of here. We have to witch an hour. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for your compliments. We really appreciate it. Tell your friends we're here every Monday 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Go to Sports Fluent and subscribe to our show. For Paul Mokeski, I'm Rick Hampton. Peace, everybody. Have a great evening.
Enjoy. NBA starting tomorrow.
Oh, Canada.
Put on a suit, drink water. Don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
Nah, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.
Later, Mo.
We're still live?
Canada.
Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
Nah, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.